Well, good afternoon. We're going to ask everyone to take their seats. Members, get your cattle ready. We're just a couple minutes away from our 2 p.m. show. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 6th Annual High Stakes Junior Beef Club Steer Show. It's great to see such a fantastic crowd here today. Lots of people milling around. Come grab a seat and enjoy the steer show as we celebrate another year of hard work, dedication, and achievement by an outstanding group of young people. Before we begin today's steer show, I'd like to take a moment to reflect on where this club started and what it has become. 6 years ago, during the uncertainty of COVID, a group of families found themselves without a place to exhibit their cattle, as 4-H was not allowed to go due to the rules. And instead of sitting back and accepting that reality, they came together, rolled up their sleeves, and built something of their own. And what started as an idea has grown into something truly special. And today, High Stakes Junior Beef Club is much more than a cattle club. It has become a community, a place where young people learn responsibility, leadership, communication, and the value of hard work. And throughout the year, these members care for their animals every day. They participate in public speaking competitions, they complete their record books, they market their projects, and they volunteer in their communities and help them develop the skills that will serve them long after their cattle projects are complete. And at its core, this club is built on 3 things: mentorship, community, and culture. And looking around here today, I think it's safe to say that that vision has become a reality. And none of this happens without support. So I'd like to recognize all of our parents, volunteers, committee members, leaders, sponsors, buyers, and supporters. We're going to spend the afternoon recognizing them, but right now the countless hours that go into making this weekend possible, we couldn't do it without all them people. So you know what, if you're in the stands here, let's give everybody that made today possible a round of applause, if you will. A few little introductions here before we get kicked off with our first class. We have our judges here. I'd like to introduce Riley and Maddie, and them alongside Riley's parents, Vern and Denise. They operate a successful 350-head Simmental and Angus operation. They host an annual bull sale each spring. The Friends family has exhibited cattle throughout Canada and the U.S. and has bred and raised numerous national champions, including the Supreme Champion Female at Canadian Western Agribition in both 2024 and 2025. Riley has judged at many of the most prestigious cattle shows across North America, while Maddie operates Compass Creative, helping livestock producers and ag businesses market their programs and products. And most importantly, they are passionate about mentoring young people and sharing their knowledge with the next generation. They come from Bean Fate, Saskatchewan. They've traveled nearly 10 hours to be with us here this weekend, and we are incredibly grateful for their time, their expertise, and encouragement they provided our members. If you had an opportunity to be here yesterday and listen to these two speak and the knowledge that they imparted, the expertise that they brought to the club yesterday, it was just awesome to have them here. So you know what? Please join me in thanking Riley and Maddie for being here as our judges for the Steers Show today. Well, we have a few other things to say throughout the day, but we're going to get kicked off with our Steers Show, and we're going to get into class number 1. This is our homegrown steers division. Exhibitor number 1, Dane Deeg. 1,280 pounds, his steer weighed in at. Second in ring is Isabel Sherman. 13.15 is what that steer tipped the scales. And Tinley Harvey, third in class, 13.40. And finaling out this class is L Flag, exhibitor number 1. Not just number 1 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. This young lady just lives down the road from me. I've had the opportunity of watching her grow up, got to coach her hockey, get to rodeo with her in high school rodeo, and she is one of our founding club members here. Do a little bragging on Elle because this is her last steer show day with the High Stakes Steer Club. She's moving on as she graduates. We have a couple kids here that are moving on. It's our first time we've had kids move on due to graduating and aging out. So we're definitely going to spend a little bit of time recognizing these young members because they sure have helped shape the culture of this club. They've helped mentor some of their younger ones, and they started here with us 6 years ago, and Elle's one of them founding members. Again, this is our homegrown steer division. The young man out front there, that's Dane Deeg. He's a huge asset on the farm, and his knowledge in the cow herd blows everyone away when he's out doing the tours. He picked T-Bone out of the home-raised steers early in the fall, and he got straight away to work. And the effort he's put into T-Bone has created a great bond for Dane to really enjoy the process. He looks forward to the social aspect that comes with this show and sale day, and he can't wait until this evening when everything sails. He's done a lot of hard work. Isabel with her black steers. She's 13 years old. She's one of our intermediate members. Again, another homegrown Sim Angus cross. Hank is his name. She calved him out last winter, and she's enjoyed watching him grow into the big guy that he is today. Third in class is Tinley Harvey. Tinley had a good day yesterday. She ended up reserve champion showman in the senior division. She is one of our senior members. She's got her Hereford Cross steer.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Certainly, Maddie and I are excited to be back for day 2 to start the steer show. I think we've got 4 classes of homegrown steers here to start with. A really nice class here at the front end to go ahead and start with. I think we've got a red steer up front that just really labels, you know, a practical, easy feeding image. He's a really big bodied steer. He handles well. He's got some expression, his shape. He's got some width over his loin. And you get him behind the cattle, I think that's where he excels in this lineup in terms of his hip shape and down in through his quarter and his stifle. A calf that I just think is a very good type of steer that has obviously gained well, and the young man's done a tremendous job presenting. Our Hereford Mark steer here in second, he's really the calf from the side profile that you really like. He's long and level. He's very attractive up through his front end. From a balance perspective, he's probably the best in the class. Compared to our class winner, he just gives up too much into his quarter and his stifle to compete with the steer ahead of him. There are 2 different types of steers. We just like the added performance and muscle. I just think there's a little more carcass value in the steer that wins. Our black steer here in 3, really a nice type of calf as well. He's got some body. He's plenty sound in terms of his feet and legs. He just runs out of some gas from behind in terms of muscle and product compared to those top 2 calves, but a very useful type of steer as well. Kind of the buckskin calf here that rounds off our class. He's big framed. He's got some extension, some length to him for sure. Gets a little bit off from hooks to pins, falls out from a balance perspective. We could just stouten him up just a notch, and he reads just a little bit bare as we handle him over his last couple ribs there. But really good class here to start with. Commend these junior exhibitors for raising steers of this caliber. Job well done.
Well, thank you, Riley. And that's going to be Dane Deeg and Tinley Harvey coming out of this class. We'll see them in class number 5, where we will crown our grand champion and reserve champion homegrown steers. Again, I want to remind all you exhibitors, all you kids, no matter where you place today, come out of your class, hold your head high. We're proud of you. You put lots of work in. It's a great set of cattle we have here today to show off. So make sure that you honor today and be proud of all the hard work that you've done. We're going to see Dane and Tinley back in a few short minutes in class number 5.
Always taking my breath, whether sun or rain.
Well, we hope you come back here, El, and visit us next year. Maybe pass on some of your knowledge to some of these young kids. I know you got a big future ahead of you. You might have to come back into the dog show where Dad Travis, he's been importing Ukrainian dogs, I learned. He was a grand champion last night in the dog show. You bet, there he is. Give that guy a wave, buy him a beer, shake his hand. Yes, sir. He came out on top last night in the dog show, them imported Ukrainian dogs. Did you have to take any people when you brought him over, or just the dogs? Federally funded. All right, well, this is class number 2. Exhibitor number 24, Haley Lismer. 12 years old. This is her 5th year as a member of the High Stakes Junior Beef Club. She's a hockey, volleyball. She enjoys baking, hanging out with her friends in her spare time. She wants to thank Lock End Energy for purchasing her steer last year. This year's steer's name is Goose, and she picked it out herself. Going to be a very good addition to your summer barbecue plan, she says. Second in class is exhibitor number 12, Aubrey Fraser. Grade 8 student, stays busy balancing school, sports, and her passion for the cattle industry. When she isn't in the barn working with her sow cattle, she enjoys hockey, badminton, skiing, and golf. She's an athlete, and she's a contender today. Her steer's name this year is Chicken Nugget. She selected him from the family herd last fall. She's already campaigned at several junior shows this spring. She's grateful for her friendships and opportunities and the lessons the High Stakes Junior Beef Club has brought. That's in her bio in the catalog. Thank you for writing that. That is a testament to this club. You bet we have created a lot of friendships and a lot of opportunities for these kids. Exhibitor number 28, Ainsley Van Sickle, third in class here. She's 11 years old, and this is her 4th year with High Stakes. Steer's name is Cola, and he's a brother to her last year's steer, Rudy. He's a home-raised Red Angus steer that's been super quiet to work with this year. It's going to be Triple A, she says, just like her brother graded out. And rounding out this class is exhibitor number 27, Sydney Van Sickle. Also 11 in her 4th year, and her steer's name is Pine Lake. Home-raised Semitol Red Angus cross. Couple pretty ladies that we need to mention here that have not been recognized yet. They were here with us yesterday, again today. Jill Mater and Rael Walker, the sister-in-law duo running our ring here. Thank you for being with us today and helping out. Man, these two are a big backbone of the club. They put a lot of work in, started this club, and hours of work went in when this kicked off 6 years ago. And as the club is growing, we've just gotten better and better each year, and these two have been able to step down just a little bit, not too much, but a little bit, and there's been other people step up and come in. We got several committees, and like we have mentioned earlier, it takes a lot of volunteer hours from parents and everybody to put this day on today, along with all the other projects that we do. So big thank you to Riel and Jill for being with us today. We had our female show yesterday and our showmanship. However, I do think that the judges have their work cut out for them even more today, as we just have a great set of cattle here. Something new we're adding here this year, Battle of the Breeds. They're going to be finaling out our day, class number 13 through 17. It's a new thing they're doing. We got a set of Charolais, a set of Angus, a set of Hereford, and a couple sets of Semitol cattle. So we are going to do the Battle of the Breeds, and it's going to be a pen of 3. Make sure you stick around. 7 p.m. is the steer sale. 5:30 will be our steak supper and our social. Tia Schramm is with us again today, capturing all these awesome moments in these kids' lives. I did get the chance to get online and see some of the pictures from yesterday. She did a great job. Carter up here beside me with DLMS. So if you can't be with us, you can definitely get your bids in online or enjoy the show online. So big thank you to DLMS for being with us today.
I think this second split of homegrown steers is really good again, and took just a little bit longer for Maddie and I, but again, I think there's 4 steers in here, depending on your preference and what you like. You can go ahead and start any one of these calves. These young people have done a tremendous job feeding them. All 4 of these calves handle with some degree of finish. I think have some product and some merit at the end of the day. For Maddie and I, the cream-colored tan steer here at the front end, I guess, is kind of the combination steer for us. We think he's the steer that combines some substance, some muscle, some body with some handling quality. He's got some shape out behind his shoulder. He's got some width and spread over his loin. He's a calf that I think excels in terms of muscle shape down through his quarter and his stifle. And I think he's kind of, like I say, the combination steer that we land on here today. The solid red steer here in second, we also really like. Very an attractive made steer. We think he's the second best in terms of muscle, especially down through his quarter and his stifle. And that's why he beats the steer that's in third. The calf in third, he's got more frame and length, and we really like that about him. I like that added frame size and performance he brings to the table. He gets just a little bit tighter in his flank, and probably more so for Maddie and I, that steer just comes a little high in his twist. We just like to pull him down there a little bit, draw down that muscle a little deeper into his twist and his quarter. That's kind of the differences between 2 and 3, but we love the frame and the length of body that steer represents. Our solid black steer in fourth, he's as big bodied and as deep flanked and probably as mellow to the touch as any of them in the class. I guess just with his degree of finish and body that he has, we would just like to see a bit more muscle in that calf in through his hip and his stifle, but he's a good feeding calf that's sound enough in terms of his structure. We love his body. He just needs a little more muscle here for Maddie and I today. But those are 4 really good calves. They fed well. These young people have done a great job with them. Again, congratulations. A very good group of steers here again.
You bet. Thank you, Riley. That's class number 2. Moving on out of there is going to be Aubrey Fraser and Ainsley Van Sickle. Well, we've opened the ring up for class number 3. This is exhibitor number 11, Carson Van Sickle. His steer topped the scales at 1,460 pounds. He's a 14-year-old, and he's been with the High Stakes Junior Beef Club since its inaugural 6 years ago. This year, he has a home-raised red Baldy Angus cross steer named Joker. He projected him to come in at about 1,375 pounds, but he come in at 1,460. Packed the weight on him here in the last little bit. Second in class, exhibitor 38, Sadie Tucker, one of our junior members. Sadie's 8 years old, and it's her first year with High Stakes. Her steer's name is White Boy Rick, and he's a Charolais cross. He's been easy to work with. This young lady, she rodeos outside of the cow showing arena. She's all heart. I've had the opportunity to watch her in the rodeo ring as well. That's Sadie Tucker, second in class. Following her is her brother Riles Tucker, exhibitor number 22. Riles is 12, and this is his second year. Last year, he was a first-year member. His steer's name is Winchester, and he's an Angus cross. And when Riles is not working with his show steer, he's riding steers. That young man is a steer rider, and he's sticky. He's just like his sister, a lot of heart and try. It's Riles Tucker, third in class. Fourth in class is Blake Brewer. This is his first year with the High Stakes Beef Club. His steer's name is Ego, and he's a Char Angus cross. Said he's feeding him about 18 pounds of grain and a tub of TMR. He said, come find me at the sale, and I'll tell you all about Ego. Yeah, you bet, Blake. Looks good. And rounding out this class is Mr. Young Tail Harvey. Tail's 8 years old. This is his second year with us. Tommy is a home-raised commercial simi steer. He's been fed a balanced ration of silage and grain twice a day to ensure he's the best Alberta beef you've had. Well, that's a good sales pitch, Tell. And Tell, if you don't know, he loves everything about cattle, feeding, halter breaking, fitting, and showing. You bet, but I also know this young man does quite a bit of trapping and hunting as well. So this is your class number 3 in the homegrown steer division. This class has a few of our junior members here for sure, 7, 8 years old. And one of the best things about high stakes is that our senior members mentor our younger members. And these 8-year-olds showing cattle today are learning from the kids who've been doing this since we started. And that's something that we hold dear to this club right here, is the mentorship that's being provided. Of course, that mentorship was not only taught to them, but shown to them by the parents and the grandparents and everybody else here that has been a part of these kids' journey in high stakes.
This third split of homegrown steers, Maddie and I think is very competitive here on the top end. Two steers that are a little bit different in terms of type and kind, but I think the two that definitely sort up quick in our opinion. Again, the solid red steer here up front, I think just a combination like we've talked about. He's just really, I think, a meat and potatoes type of calf. You love the body, the rib in that calf. A steer that's got an adequate amount of muscle as you get in behind him, and you'd expect from the outside as you get your hands on him, he's a good handling calf. He's got some spread and shape out behind his shoulder. He's very mellow and uniform in terms of his degree of finish. I just think a very practical, good type of steer that, I think that's just the type that you'd like to feed a pen full of, and you'll be very impressed at the end of the day with the results. A really nice calf to start. The steer in second, he is more attractive, and I think that's what makes it close for us. I do like his length and his levelness. He's a little bit neater through his shoulder and his throat latch and chest floor, and he probably is a bit sharper and more eye appealing. He's a calf that just gets a little bit straighter off either end. He could just square him up a little bit in his hock. He probably doesn't handle just quite as mellow and uniform as our class winner, but we like the shape, we like the look, and those are two steers that you can go back and forth on depending on your preference. The big silver steer here in third, he's got as much frame and length of body as any steer in the class. Really like that about that steer. The young man does a great job showing him as well. He just gets a little bit shallower, I guess, with his extra frame and length. We could just soften him up and pull him down there in his forerib and down into his flank, but we do really like the frame size and extension he represents. The solid black steer that comes next in line, good functional type of calf. He's got some body. He's adequate in terms of his muscle. I think where he beats our steer that rounds off the class is he's just more appropriate in his degree of finish. A calf that is definitely very useful in his type and kind, just runs out of some power to compete with the top end. Our big silver calf that concludes the class, again, a tremendous amount of frame, a tremendous amount of length. He has as much frame and as length of body as any steer in the class. He just needs to be a little bit stouter for Maddie and I to work up any higher. Again, a great group of kids here with some big steers as they get them around the ring. They've done an awesome job. Congratulations, really good class again.
Well, thank you, Riley. That's class number 3 in our homegrown steer division. It will be Tel Harvey and Carson Van Sickle advancing on to class number 5. Well, we're going to open the ring up for our final class before we move into our Grand and Reserve Champion Homegrown Steer. This is class number 4. Exhibitor number 35 will be first to enter the ring. Brigham Danes, 1,550 pounds a steer come in at. He's proud to be here. This is his second year with High Stakes Club. Steer's name is Wolf. Brigham says he's been learning more about responsibility, sportsmanship, and the dedication it takes to raise and show cattle. He's enjoyed being part of the club, and he looks forward to continuing to learn and grow each year. Second in class is exhibitor number 6, Lane Lismer. Well, this is his 6th high-stakes show and sale. He's been with us since day one, right from the very beginning. He's 15 years old. He enjoys hockey, golf, fishing, and welding. And his steer's name is Rusty. He's a homegrown, and he's been very easy to feed and get finished for the sale. He wants to thank his buyers from last year, Otis Excavating, for supporting his sale last year. Third in class is exhibitor 18, Chick Harvey. Chick's 13 years old. Again, this is his 6th year with us as well. Winchester is his steer's name. He's a home-raised semi-Angus steer. He's done really well on a single mix ration and game changer show feed to help maximize his carcass size and quality. Chick's worked hard on them all winter, and he's proud to say he can now show them in his pen without a halter. And Winchester was the perfect fit because it combines some of his favorite things: hunting, trapping, fishing, and raising cattle. Yeah, Chick enjoys a lot of outdoor stuff as well. Number 33, Carter Kamala. 10 years old, and his steer's name is Gary. He's a homegrown Semitol steer. He's long and friendly, and he likes to be scratched. Well, don't we all, Carter? He's 1,600 pounds, and he will fill your freezer. Carter also plays hockey and soccer, and he hopes to see you here tonight supporting him. And rounding out the class is number 31, Gentry Harvey. One of our junior members, she's 10 years old. Her steer's name is Thriller, and he's the biggest steer she's raised in her 4 years as part of this club. She's worked really hard on getting him halter broke and ready for the big day. She's been hand feeding him twice a day and has helped get him quiet because he was really stubborn at first at getting halter broke, but it looks like you've done an excellent job.
A better man, if I could change I would, but I find I'm at a loss for words, and even when they come it hurts. What do you want from me? Honey, I can't even breathe. Tell me if I found what you can't see, would you come back to me? Try to let me go, go. Tell me, babe, is this real? Or do I want what you don't feel? If you think that you don't know, try to let me go, go. Try to let me go. Try to let me go. Try to let me go, go. Try to let me go.
Well, we've touched on a few of the people and things that make this show and sale possible, but one of the large parts of this is our financial contributions from our sponsors, and we want to recognize them here today and throughout the day. So a big thank you to Cargill Feed and Nutrition, CCHMS, Data Scavenger, thank you RD, Camela Farms and Hatcheries, thank you to them, they're part of our club as well, MNP, Mountain View County, National Bank Financial, True Nutrition, and Thai Chem Electric. Those make up our Tomahawk sponsors. You can find them on the back of your program if you do have one in hand. Future Ag, Israelson Forage Inc., Quest Realty, Scotiabank, and the Paint Pot. Those are our prime rib sponsors. And our T-Bone sponsors, Heavy Metals, Myrna and Barry Bennett, Noble Equipment, and Olds Auction Mart. And then we do have gift in kind, and these people have stepped up donating time and other things of their services. Kodiak Barbecue, we're going to see them tonight for our supper and our social. The Meat Chop, Mater Ranches and the Walker family, the Angus Store, Pet Value Didsbury, Borson Marketing Services, Doran Marketing Inc., Craig Flewelling, and Rod McLeod. That rounds out all of our sponsors for 2026. A big thank you to them. Of course, they're a huge part of our club, and we just are grateful to have their contributions to the club.
Really good class here again. I think there's lots of differences in type and kind throughout this class. This big black steer here at the top end, it's just pretty hard to ignore the muscle, the sheer product, and a calf for, as massive as he is, it still gets around in a pretty nice fashion. I think we're at a time in this beef business where we need more frame, we need more size, we need more product, and I think he's a calf that can answer those questions for us. So much rib, so much volume, just so much product. If we're feeding a pen of cattle, he's definitely the type that you want to fill the pens full of. I think our steer in second closely resembles him in terms of body and type and kind. He gets a little shorter, more compact through his front end than our class winner, but we love the handling quality, the squareness over his loin. I think he's a calf that brings a lot to the table again, just becomes just a little shorter and bolder up through his front end. The steer here in third, there's no question he's the most attractive in this class through his front end, really drawn to his phenotype. He's a calf that's got some frame size and some scale. For Matty and I, he just gets a little awkward in the way he handles his top line. We'd like to rearrange him out through his hip and his hind leg. And at the end of the day, you just ask yourself, is there quite enough rib and volume and mass to that calf compared to the top two? You can make your own call on it. For Matty and I, we think he falls a little short today, but he does have some class-leading advantages. He definitely is the most attractive calf in class. The red steer here that comes next, again, we like the muscle shape and the body he has, a calf that has some handling quality and some width and depth over his loin. We just like to rearrange him out of his front end. The way he moves, he gets a little awkward there out of his front knee, a little bit coarse for us. Really a nice baldy calf that concludes our class. Really a big steer that's really long-sided. He's fed well. Again, probably for the extra condition he's got, we just like to stouten him up a little bit from a muscle standpoint. But again, a class that has a lot of controversy, a lot of differences. You guys can pick him how you like him from the outside. That's the way that Matty and I see him today. But really good class. Again, congratulations.
Well, that's going to finish out class number 4. It will be Chick Harvey and Gentry Harvey, the brother-sister duo, moving on. And that is our next class, class number 5, homegrown Grand and Reserve Champion. We're going to welcome into the arena, coming out of class number 1, our first class today was Dane Deeg. Again, his 1,280-pound steer. This is your championship drive in the homegrown division. Tinley Harvey also advancing out of class number 1 with her 1,340-pound steer. Coming out of class number 2 was Aubrey Fraser and Ainsley Van Sickle. And coming out of class number 3, entering the arena right now, is Tail Harvey and Carson Van Sickle. And coming back in, we just seen Gentry Harvey. She had a good day yesterday. She was your reserve junior showman. An excellent day for her and her brother Chick Harvey. Chick also was reserve showmanship champion yesterday in the intermediate division. So both of them having some success on the day yesterday. This is your grand championship drive in the homegrown steer division. Well, while the judges are deliberating, we're going to talk about one of the things that makes high stakes unique, and it's commitment to giving back. And every year, our members support charitable causes within our communities. Last year, the club donated to Kristen's Place in Olds, an outfit helping support women and families affected by domestic abuse. Again, they're going to vote on this year who they'll be giving their donation to. It is 1% of the sale proceeds that will be going to these charities. It is something that the club has done since day one. It's a big value of the club. Their service to community, leadership through service is something huge that we can all take a little part of. So it is stars that we are going to be representing this year. They were the first recipient, I should say, I guess, of our first inaugural year. So they were here our second year, and we're able to give some donation to them, and they voted them back in again. The kids do get together. They vote on where that money is going to go. So if you turn into your program, if you have them, we do have a list of everybody that they have donated to throughout the years. 2022, as I said, that money from 2021 went to Stars. 2023 was Hope for Mountain View Kids. 2024 was a community initiative called Everyone Can Play. Last year was Kristen's Place. And this year we are going to be representing and presenting Stars. As we can see, we have a big check there back at the front of the show ring for $3,700. And you know what? What a great thing this club has done is giving back to these great causes. So that's an awesome initiative that they've done for sure. And that spirit of service is just another example of the character of these young people that we're building through this program.
Well, this is a really impressive group of home-raised steers out here today. Let's give these kids a round of applause. I commend these kids for going out in their own pastures and picking a steer project that they've brought along. It takes a lot of time going out and picking one from their pasture, getting them nice and quiet, and getting them fed to this stage, and these kids have done a really, really excellent job at that. In this class, I hope you can see some steers that all have some muscle, they've got some shape, they've got a lot of product and real-world practicality, and every steer in this class in this championship drive has been finished really, really well, and these kids have done a really great job feeding them. I guess with that, Riley's going to go pick the two that we think come to the top here today, and once again give these kids a really big round of applause.
Well, there it is, Gentry Harvey. That is your grand homegrown champion. Congratulations to you, young lady, Gentry Harvey. That is your grand champion in the homegrown steer division, and it is her brother, Chick Harvey. There's your reserve champion. Congratulations to you two. You bet. Harvey's made up a big part of this class. Tell Harvey, Chick Harvey, Gentry Harvey, Tinley Harvey. Good job on you guys and your homegrown steers. We will get some pictures taken with our champions. And then we're going to move on into the open steer division. Well, a few housekeeping things here as well. The washrooms there are at the back of the building. I was just told the bar is open, so I guess that'll conclude my time up here today. We'll see you at the bar. So go ahead, enjoy a refreshment. To the left of me, there is a coffee table with some donuts. By all means, help yourself. And again, in about the center of the building is our bar, and it's open right now, so please feel free to grab a refreshment as we take some pictures and we get geared up for the open steer division.
Trouble, and I'll tell
Well, while we're doing our pictures here and we have a little bit of time between our homegrown and our open steer division, the club does have a few prizes that they do want to give out. Again, one of our events throughout the year is public speaking, and what a great event it is. If you ever get an opportunity to join in March at our public speaking events, my favorite event of the whole year, of course, this is the pinnacle, but that event is so entertaining and it is so awesome to go and watch these kids as they prepare their speeches and then they come up and they present them. And what a great life skill to have. It's one of the most valuable life skills not just a young person, but any person can develop, and every member who stepped forward should be proud of their accomplishment. So we are going to award some of our public speaking winners here. We'll start with our junior division. Our grand champion in the juniors was Bryn Deeg with her speech, A Rural Route Ag Academy. So congratulations to you, Bryn. I think they have a nice Yeti cooler down there to present to you. And then our reserve grand champion in the junior division was Dalton Dorn with the history of the Stanley Cup. He was your reserve champion. Now, I don't know some of these kids if they're able to come up and accept these awards or if they're getting their steers ready, but we are still going to announce them nonetheless. Well, moving on into our intermediate division in the public speaking, it was Sydney Van Sickle who found herself at the top as a grand champion with her speech, My Best Friend. And it was her sister, Ainsley Van Sickle, who was the reserve champion with her speech, The Dream Team. So those are your two intermediate public speaking champions. Again, we do have the prizes out front because the kids are busy getting their steers ready. They won't be able to come up here and accept them, but we're going to still announce them. And in our senior division, it was Harper Walker with her speech, Failing Forward. She was your grand champion in the senior division. And it was her brother, Sloan Walker, Confidence is Key, as the reserve. So them two picking up that cooler and that drone. Congratulations to all of our public speaking participants. As I said, if you do get an opportunity to attend the public speaking in the high stakes, man, it is just such a great pleasure to be there. They got a lot of great speakers and a lot of great topics, and there is some awesome entertainment and content that they provide to us. And as I said, one of the most valuable skills, I think, is public speaking. As I'm up here today, I can be a testament to that. I am not necessarily a public speaker, and I remember when Rael and I got married way back in 2008, and they asked us to go up and say a big thank you. Rael, public speaker, very well spoken, and she got up and had about a 5-minute speech and, said all the thank yous and everything. And I remember standing there the whole time. I don't even remember what she said. I was scared. And I was 30 years old, and I was standing there shaking and scared. And when she gave me the mic, I just looked at her and said, yeah, whatever she said. And, that stuck with me because I found that was a very hard thing to do as a 30-year-old man, to stand up there and speak. I rodeoed for a lot of years. I fought bulls at a very high level. I thought that I could face just about anything and all my fears. And then when I was put on a microphone at my own wedding, I just about wanted to shrink away and cry. So I took that as maybe something that I should go and learn how to do, and maybe I needed to get in front of it and take a few things. And it is a skill. It's not something that comes naturally. It's something that we can learn and we can pick up. And I would have to say that I am a testament to that as I stand here today. I still kind of want to cry and shrink away, but I'm here doing it regardless of how scared I am. So you know what? Public speaking, one of our great events, and congratulations to all of our winners that stepped up and did a great job at the public speaking event. And it does look like that the ring, I did get corrected yesterday, this is a show ring, it's not an arena, this isn't hockey or a rodeo, I apologize. This is a show ring. So we're going to open up the ring to our open steer division, class number 6. Exhibitor number 16, Hawk and Mater. His steer's name is Stu. He's a club calf steer that he got from the U.S. this year. Hawkins says Stu's a moderate frame steer with lots of shape and substance. Hawkins been with us since day one. This young man's come a long ways. He is my nephew. I've got the opportunity to watch him evolve and progress, and you bet he's going to have a good day today. Following him in this class is Riley Kamala. He's exhibitor number 20. Riley's 12 years old. His steer's name is Franklin, who is brought from RJ Cattle Company. And he was an In God We Trust X129 Holy Smoker and Heat Wave sire and dam, and he's been having fun showing him this spring at junior shows. Third in class, Wyatt McCrae, bib number 34. Wyatt's 9 years old. This is his first year here with us. So we'd like to welcome you to the show ring, Wyatt. You bet, comes from a great family. I've had the opportunity to work with his dad over the years. Just a great set of people right there. And this is his first year here. His steer's name is Zeus, and he purchased him from the Harvey Crest Ranch. Wyatt guessed he'd be weighing in at about 1,350 pounds. He wasn't far off. He come in at 1,305 when we run them through the scales yesterday. And rounding out this class, and class number 6, is exhibitor number 7, Aurora Murky. Well, Aurora's 15. This is her second year with the High Stakes Junior Beef Club. Her steer's name is Wonder, named after her favorite Megan Maroney song. He's a Hereford Black Angus cross and purchased him from Harvey Ranching. She said Wonder's been a project for sure, but slowly she's got him figured out which buttons to press and not to press. Well, maybe if you could tell me, I haven't figured that out with my own situation and being married, so maybe you show me which buttons to press and not press, Aurora. I'm glad you've done such a great job. She's looking forward to the sale tonight. This is class number 6, your first class in the open steer division.
Really good class of steers here in this lightweight division to start our open show. You know, I think a pair of cream-colored tan steers here at the top end of the class that are very similar but have some differences. in the pair of them, Maddie and I really like our class winner. In terms of structure, foot and bone, he's a calf that's got some shape. He definitely is blessed with a ton of quality and presence. For sure, he's got the look of a show steer. At the end of the day, do we wish he was a frame size bigger? Absolutely. But I think in terms of his frame size, and you get your hands on him, he is finished for what he offers in terms of frame size. So he does have some degree of finish and cover on him. Like we say, he's a little on the moderate side for us, but we do think he's definitely the most complete, and he's a calf that combines muscle and structural build within this lineup. I think, the steer in second, we love the frame size, and that's where the trade-off is. We like his added frame size. We like his added length of body. I think that's more where we need to be in terms of size. I guess our issue just with him is as we put the cattle into motion, he gets a little too tight and rigid there on his hock and pasture for Maddie and I. But we do really like the added frame and scale that we find in that calf. We don't think he's quite as deep in his forerib and his flank either. So there's some trade-offs in the pair of those cattle, and we just find our first place steer that's a bit more mobile for us today. Young lady does a really nice job with her red steer here in third. We like the frame, the scale of that calf. He's got a lot of length of body, a calf that handles with some mellowness and degree of finish. He gets a little bit flatter into his hip and down into his stifle compared to our top two calves. That's why he sorts third. Really a nice black blaze face here that comes in fourth, a good easy feeding practical type of calf. He just gets a little bit flatter and shallower here for Maddie and I, but a calf that's definitely fed very well. He still is appropriate in terms of his degree of finish. Young lady's done a very nice job presenting her project as well. Really good class here. There's lots of differences. Congratulations.
Well, you bet. That's class number 6. That's Hawk and Mater, Riley, Kamala, that are going to be moving on to class number 11. Hawkins had himself a great weekend here yesterday. He found himself as the grand champion in the intermediate age division in showmanship. You bet. So good way to come out of your class today, Hawkin. Again, all you kids, and I will keep saying it, but you know what? When you leave this arena, no matter where, no matter where you placed, hold your heads up proud. You know what? You put a lot of work in. Today is just one day, but you've shown up every single day, not only for your animals, but for yourself, feeding and learning and growing. So it's been a couple hundred days, and today is just one day. We're proud of all of you, no matter what happens here today. But right now, it's class number 7. Exhibitor number 13, Kaisley Zebarth, the first to enter the ring. She's 14 years old in grade 8. One of her other passions outside of steer showing is high school rodeoing, and along with some of the amateur circuits, she's qualified for provincials 3 times in 4 of her 5 events. She's a 2-time national junior high schools rodeo qualifier, world qualifier in pole bending, and she does enjoy working with her steers as well and riding her horses. That is exhibitor number 13, Kaisley Zebarth, with her 1,330-pound steer. Exhibitor number 4, Brock Steckley. He's 16 years old. He's been here with us since day 1 as well. This is his 6th year. He's won the Rate of Gain and Spirit of the Youth Award. This young man deserves the Spirit of the Youth Award. When he did win it, you know what? He's just an outstanding young gentleman, a great mentor, just the kind of teenager you want hanging around. He's also the junior secretary for his club this year. And over the years in junior beef, he's learned about showing, grooming, and how to work cattle. It's helped him get off into the cattle business and been growing his own personal herd for the last few years. That is exhibitor number 4, Brock Steckley, and his 1,340-pound steer. Bib number 19, Gracie Borison. She had herself a great day yesterday as well. She was your grand champion in the female show. She's 13 years old. This is her 6th year as well. Again, the Borison marketing crew being a big part of our sale and showing up every single year. What a great family they are. She loves being a part of this club and proud of her steer, you bet. And not only is she here with us today and had a good day, but it is her birthday today. Gracie is 13 years old. So if you see Gracie, say a big happy birthday to her. And And rounding out this class is bib number 40, Dalton Doran. This is his second year with High Stakes. He's 8 years old. Just lives down the road from me outside of Didsbury. His family has an annual commercial bred heifer sale. Again, Doran Marketing, Ryan, his dad here, will be doing the auctioneering with us tonight. Again, they've been a big part of our sale since day one, so a big thank you to the Doran family. His steer's name is Brick, and he tipped the scales at 1,410 pounds. This is class number 7 in the open steer division.
I'm so fucking cute, bitch. I'm so fucking cute. Attitude abusive, but I'm so fucking cute. Kawaii, cutie on the beat, cooking up the heat. OMG, booty like Kylie, but shouty Taiwanese. Did you see her on the magazine and Times Square on the screens? Just like Reed, Fenty on my cheeks, Savage on his D. In the gym, sweaty R.I.P. Practicing Tai Chi, keep it chill, mental L.I.T. Keep it ill psyche. Hotter than wasabi, too spicy. Drop a P.I.C. Now I'm trending on IG. Yeah, I'm so fucking cute, bitch. I'm so fucking cute. Attitude abusive, but I'm so fucking cute. Ass fat broke that zipper. Cake back just got thicker. Face ain't got no fillers. Go on, arch that back for the picture. Bitch, I drip like liquor. Pussy in the floor, stay wet like a river. Baby gon' shine like glitter. Looking at the baddest of them all in the mirror. Now every bitch on the block is gonna copy. Don't need to tell them to stop. They couldn't tap me. My beat sounds sicker, but my peach look bigger. Bank account got more figures. Cutest bitch in the litter. I'm so fucking cute, bitch. I'm so fucking cute. Attitude abusive, but I'm so fucking cute.
Really a good class of steers here. Again, I think that there's some trade-offs. Again, you know, for Maddie and I think the solid red steer here on top, you know, wins pretty quick in our opinion. You know, I think he's kind of the combination calf. Again, he's big, he's stout, he's got some substance. He handles with some width and spread, a muscle out of the back of his shoulder over to the edge of his loin. I think a calf, like we talked about in a couple of those previous classes, you know, there's just a lot of meat and potatoes in that calf. I think he's very practical in his build. Young man does a nice job presenting that steer as well. Our steer in second, he's probably got as much cut ability as any of them. Muscle shape and spread is really good. A calf that definitely has some attractiveness there through his head and his neck. For us, from a structure standpoint, we just need to set him back there in his knee a bit, let him go a little bit freer and easier, but it's his muscle and shape that gets him into second hole. Young lady does a nice job presenting him as well. Our Hereford influence, Mark here, steer in third. We like him in terms of his frame size, his length. He's better in the angle of his shoulder than the steer in second. We just need to see more muscle in that calf for us to get him any higher. Really a nice red baldy steer here to conclude the class. Really long-sided, a calf that's mellow and has some degree of finish. finish. I guess for Maddie and I, he just becomes a little too flat there from the rear view. We'd just like to stouten him up a bit, but we do like his length, very appropriate in terms of his degree of finish. Again, a really nice class here. Again, congratulations to you young exhibitors.
Well, that will be Dalton Doran and Gracie Borson coming out of class number 7. We're going to see them in class 11. We will be crowning our Grand and Reserve Champion steers in the Open Division. Bib number 5, Stella Mater, going to be the first to enter the ring here. Again, she's been with us since day one. Her mom Jill out there working the ring. Her dad, Riley, show marshaling for us. Big part of our club. Stella's just stepped up to the plate along with her parents' mentorship, showing her how to be involved. She is your youth president this year as part of the club. Her steer's a solid black semi-Angus cross with a bit of white on his face. She said he should project to weigh about 1,480 pounds by the show, and he topped the scales at 1,430 pounds. Carlos is his steer's name. Second into the ring is bib number 39, Cole Steckley. This is his second year in high stakes, and he's really enjoying playing with his friends and learning about the beef industry. He's excited for the sale tonight. You bet. The Steckleys have been a big part of our club and Far West Trucking, some of our major buyers every year at the steer show and sale. That is Cole Steckley, and his steer come in at 1,440 pounds. And exhibitor number 2, Cashton Zebarth. Grade 11 student. He's a huge animal lover. When he's not showing his steer, he competes in the team roping and the tie-down roping in the High School Rodeo Association and some of the local amateur rodeos. He qualified for the high school provincials in the team roping. He enjoys working with his steer, Concho. Next year, his goal is to get to improve his showmanship and to get better at clipping and fitting. And, well, we do have another birthday. Cashton is 17 years old today, so happy birthday to you. Again, Cashton Zebarth and Gracie Borson both celebrating their birthdays today. That is exhibitor number 2 and his 1,445-pound steer, Cashton Zebarth. And rounding out class number 8 is bib number 21, Isabel Murky. She's 12 years old. This is her first year in the High Stakes Junior Beef Club. She's excited to be here. Dip and Dot is her steer's name. He's a Semitol Hereford Cross and bought him from the Harvey Ranch. So far, she said he's been calm and exceptional steer this year. She enjoys being involved in high stakes, but she also plays a little volleyball and does a little cross-country running. Well, good for you. That's obviously long-distance running. Hey, Isabel? I only run when something's chasing me. I haven't ran in a lot of years, so good for you for taking the time to run so far. Anyway, she's a contender here today in class number 8, Open Steer Division.
Some see the 1,440 pounds. 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 1,
Really a good class of steers here. Again, as we get into some heavier weight ranges, you know, the black steer on top for Maddie and I. Again, I think the combination steer in the class, a big heavyweight steer that you like in terms of his frame and his scale. He's long-sided. He's really good in terms of his degree of finish. And for a calf that, you know, knocking on 1,500 pounds, he's really mobile and gets around the ring with some ease and flexibility. I think just a really good practical type of steer that's going to have a lot of carcass value at the end to go ahead and start. Really a long-sided, big-bodied Hereford influence steer here that comes next. Really level down his top line. We love his length of body. He's very mellow and uniform as you get your hands on him. He's a calf that just isn't quite as shapely out through his hip and his stifle as our black steer that wins. That's what separates the pair. But a pair of really, really good feeding type of cattle there on top. Our Baldy steer here in 3, he's big-bodied, he's deep-flanked, he's soft and mellow to the touch. Young man does an awesome job with that steer as well. He's just super bomb-proof. You can tell there's been a lot of time spent. He gets just a little bit awkward in the build of his hip and hind leg as we watch the cattle go. We'd like to square him up there a bit in his hock. We don't read that calf to have the same shape and spread out of his shoulder back into his loin as our top two, but he's very useful and practical in his type. Same goes for the big Baldy calf that concludes the class. He's got frame and scale and length, and those are important traits to have as we get behind the cattle. We just like to stouten him up from a muscle standpoint for the condition that he does have. But again, 4 very good steers in this class. You people have all done a tremendous job feeding them. No matter if you're first or fourth, you've done a great job because you've got your product to a great weight range here. You've definitely done your due diligence. So congratulations, really good to see.
Well, thank you for the comments, Riley. That is Stella Mater and Isabel Murky moving on out of the class number 8. Again, Stella had an awesome day yesterday as well. She found herself as the senior grand showmanship champion. And now we are going to see her in a few short classes of class number 11 in the grand and reserve champion in the open division. Well, that brings us into class number 9. Exhibitor number 30 is going to be first to enter the ring. This is Piper Steckley. She's 10 years old. It's her 4th year of high-stakes junior beef, and she's excited to show and sell her steer, Greg. She said she's thinking of buying him back and keeping him as a pet forever. Her favorite thing to do is to give him hugs, and he's very cool looking because he has a heart on his head. You bet. That is Piper Steckley, exhibitor number 30. It's an emotional day. These kids put a lot of time and effort into these animals, and they create a bond through their couple hundred days of feeding. And you know what? They're here today to show all of that hard work off. Second in class, Riley Brewer, bib number 10. This is his first year in the high stakes program. Freddie is his steer's name. He's been feeding him a TMR ration and a grain mixture containing soaked beet pulp and show feed. He'd like to take Freddie to the Calgary Stampede Steer Show this year. So he said, come talk to me on sale day and I'll tell you more about my steer. That's Riley Brewer. His steer weighed in at 1,470 pounds. Exhibitor number 9. I know this young lady. This is Harper Walker. Her steer's name is Omar, and she chose Omar from the Westway pen because he was compact, had nice hair, and a good temperament. He's been raised with a lot of love and care and will offer great quality beef, she says, ready to fill your freezer. Said being part of the beef club has taught her so much about responsibility, confidence, and public speaking, teamwork, and animal care over the years. Harper did win the senior public speaking competition here this year, and she's hoping to do well at the show and sale today. That is exhibitor number 9, Harper Walker and Omar weighing in at 1,480 pounds. Fourth in class, number 26, Lila Harvey. Well, her Hereford steer's name is Homer, and he's been a great project. She says he's quiet and stayed on feed. He's finished, and she's proud of how he looks. She purchased him from the Simpson Ranch. And as always, they're providing some great quality animals. She enjoys showmanship, and she's looking forward to getting Homer in the ring. Lila doesn't just also show steers, but she's been part of the Alberta Junior High School Rodeo Association. I've had the opportunity to watch her throughout the season just grow and progress, not only as a horseman, but as a young lady as well. She's full of fire. That is Lila Harvey, and her steer weighing in at 1,485 pounds. And rounding out the class here, in class number 9, is exhibitor 14, Hayden Kamala. Hayden's 14 years old. His steer's name is Curtis, and he's a Clubby Cross steer he bought from RJ Cattle Company. He's been getting fed silage and a total grain ration. He likes him because he's super long and was wide-topped and clean-fronted. Said he hopes to see you here at the sale today. That is exhibitor 14, Hayden Kamala, and his steer, Curtis, weighing in at 1,485 pounds.
Johnny went out one day with a shotgun by his side. His family didn't trust him to keep him all alive. He stumbled upon a black bear who knocked down his gun. Johnny couldn't reach it, so he fixed up to run. The bear caught up to Johnny and knocked him to the ground. Johnny thought it was a little girl, he beat that bear down. The moral of the story, if there's a woman by your side, there's nothing that a man will do just to stay alive, stay alive. Shine a light, little darling. All want someone. We're all afraid of tomorrow, just a little. We all dance circles around the sun. And we all shine a light, little darling. We all want someone. All afraid of tomorrow, just a little. We all dance circles around the sun till it's done. You're the one.
Super good class here. It'll take you just a few more minutes on top, and that's the joys of judging with your wife, because we're kind of 50-50 on this one. Both are really good. There's some differences in the pair of them. They're both extremely high quality. And again, you can talk yourself either way here, depending on what you like. And I don't mind if you start the steer in second. I'm perfectly fine with that as well. I think our steer in first, I just think, he's a calf that I just really like that extension through his front end. He's so proud. He has the look of a show steer, but he's got muscle. And I think there's a lot of cutability in that calf. He's big and square and impressive out of his hip. He is deep and good right in through his flank, and his forerib is our steer in second. He's not, but he's still plenty adequate. Really like him from a structure standpoint, his foot size, his substance, very attractive. I love the shape of that calf. I think he does a lot of things right. Our steer in second, like we talked about, Matty probably sides a little more with this calf, and I can see why. He's deeper in the center portion of his rib. He's better back into his flank. That's why I think it's very close between the two. I think of the steers, our tan-colored calf is blessed with a bit more hair. You get right in behind the cattle. I do read our black steer to just be a bit more expressive and shapely out of his hip. He's also a little longer and leveler in his hip, and that's why we like that black steer to win. But there's a ton of good in this tan-colored calf. He's big-bodied. He's big-boned. We just prefer a few of the extra details in our solid black steer to win. But that's a close pair. Our Hereford steer here in third. He's really long-bodied. Steer that's got some frame and scale. He handles really well as you get your hands on him. He just comes up a little bit too flat compared to these top two steers, but there's a lot of good in that calf as well. Our solid black steer that comes next. He's big-bodied. He's deep-flanked. He's very easy feeding and practical in his build. He gets a little softer in his top, a little lighter from a muscle standpoint. We could just stouten him up, but the young ladies did an exceptional job feeding him. Black Bronco face calf there that concludes our class. Again, that young lady's done a terrific job with that steer, and that's not typically a steer that works his way down the line at a lot of shows. He's got some body and some substance to him. Calf that just falls a little bit short from a muscle standpoint. We'd like to rearrange him, through his front end and just fix him a little bit there from a balance standpoint, but there's still a lot of good quality and a lot of good in that steer as well. So tremendous class, really good top pair. Let's give him a round of applause.
Well, you bet. That's class number 9. It's going to be Hayden Kamala and Riley Brewer moving on. What an impressive set of cattle here in this class and all throughout the classes. More importantly, what an impressive young group of people we have here showing cattle today. That is going to conclude class number 9. We're going to move into class number 10. This is our final class in the open steer division before we move on into the championship drive. Well, first into the ring is exhibitor number 32, Bryn Deeg. Had a very successful day. She was your junior grand champion showman. Bryn is her second year here with High Stakes. When she's not in the arena playing ringette, she's eager to help the farm, especially to work with her steer, Salt and Pepper. This is our heavyweight division, 1,510 pounds. Salt and Pepper topped the scales off. The two of them have had an early bond as he trusted her before anyone else, and it is only growing. Bryn looks forward to growing her knowledge in the beef sector and accomplishing goals along the way to her future dream job as an embryologist or a veterinarian. Well, that young lady has some big plans, and the future looks bright for you. That is number 32, Bryn Deeg. And number 41, Raina Sullivan. Dottie is her steer's name. It's a Simmental Angus crossed Hereford. Raina is 7 years old, our youngest member of the club, and this is her first year. Said her favorite part of being here the first year was learning and practicing grooming. She lives just down the road from me. The Sullivans are part of our club here this year, and we're grateful to have them, a big asset to the club for sure. That is number 41, Raina Sullivan. Third in class, this is Sloan Walker. His steer's name is Senior Dominique. He's an Angus Simmental cross. This is his 6th year and his final year in the club. So Sloan is one of our founding members, starting with us 6 years ago, and he's 16 years old. Do a little bragging on him. He is my son, and he's graduating a year early. He's in grade 11, but he stacked up on credits in grade 10. He buckled down in grade 11, and he is going to graduate this year. One of our other members leaving the club, L. Flag, both graduating this year. Sloan has had some opportunities down south across the 49th. He is going down south on a bull riding scholarship, and this will be his last time in the show ring for the high stakes beef show and sale as he's moving on to bigger things in life. His steer weighed in at 1,525 pounds. And rounding out class number 10 is exhibitor number 29. This is Thomas Borison. This is his 4th year with high stakes. Big Steve is his steer's name. He's an Angus semi-cross. Says his steer is super quiet, powerful, big-bodied, and a steer that he's proud of. Figured he'd weigh 1,600 plus pounds, and you weren't wrong, Thomas. That is our heaviest steer here in the club at 1,635 pounds. Said he's learned a lot about showing, public speaking, and marketing cattle through the club. But he doesn't just show steers. He plays lacrosse, hockey, swims, and he does a little camping with his friends and family. Says he wants to thank everyone that come here last year and supported the sale and bought his steer. This is Thomas Borison, exhibitor number 29, finishing out class number 10.
If I'm honest, I wish I was better at everything I have ever tried and failed to be. I wear every letdown, I show every scar, and I found that hope can only carry you so far. So won't you touch this heart that doesn't have a song to sing, and sing it to me, and sing it to me. Open up my mind that cannot find a melody, and sing it to me, and sing it to me. I keep singing,
Again, a really good class of these heavyweight steers here that we get to evaluate. Young lady does an exceptional job with this black blaze-faced steer at the top end. Really just like his style. You look at him right here, he's an attractive steer that's obviously big and heavy. He's blessed with a tremendous amount of product and handling quality. We think of this particular class, he's the combination steer that has muscle, that has product, that still has some show ring balance and quality. A pretty easy place for Maddie and I to start. Our steer in second, he's big and heavy, a tremendous amount of body and volume. There's a lot of good in that steer as well. He brings a lot of product to the table at the end. We think our class winner is just a bit more shapely out through his hip and quarter than the steer that's in second, but this steer in second is hard to ignore for the frame, the length, and like we talk about, just that big-bodied, easy-feeding look. Young man does a nice job with him as well. Our steer here in third, I think a higher cut ability calf. He's got some muscle shape for sure. He gets just a little bit flatter and tighter there in his forerib and his flank. Just doesn't have just quite that center body and rib shape there as the top two steers, but a steer that's definitely got some muscle shape and some squareness. I think a pretty high cut ability option there as well. Young lady does an awesome job with the red steer here at the end. That's a big steer. It's her first time. Just rocking it out here. Steer with a tremendous amount of body and volume. He's big frame. There's a ton of value in cattle like that as well. Just like to see him a bit stouter back through his hip and down into his quarter and twist. But again, 4 steers you can definitely appreciate. They've all done an awesome job getting them to this point and feeding them to this weight range. So you all win here today. Give them a nice round of applause. Congratulations.
Well, there you have it. That's class number 10. It is going to be Bryn Deeg and Thomas Borison moving on out of this class. That concludes our open steer division. We will be getting into our Grand and Reserve Champion Open Steer and then the Supreme Championship Drive. Again, I just want to say it is a big milestone. I've said it. You're going to hear me say it one more time. This is the first time we have had members graduating out of the High Stakes Beef Club. Elle Flagg, Sloan Walker, they're both moving on after years of dedication to the club. They're 2 young people that have helped shape the culture that exists here today. They've helped mentor young members. They've represented the club with pride, and they have built High Stakes to what it has become today. So we are wishing them all the best in their future endeavors. Elle would like to be part of the Canadian Pro Rodeo Sports Medicine team as an athletic therapist. Sloan will find himself in the rodeo ring as goes down south on a bull riding scholarship. So we're looking forward to hearing lots of good things out of them. But right now, it is class number 11. Our Grand and Reserve Championship Open Steer Division. Coming out of Class 6 was Hawk and Mater and Riley Kamala. And coming out of Class 7 was Dalton Doran and Gracie Borison. Stella Mater coming out of Class number 8 along with Isabel Murky. Class 9 is Hayden Kamala and Riley Brewer. And as we just seen coming out of our heavyweight class, exhibitor number 32, Bryn Deeg and Thomas Borison. This is your Open, Grand, and Reserve Championship Drive, class number 11.
Well, we started out with a lot of quality in the homegrown steers, and it just continued all the way through these open steers. These kids had the excitement of going out and selecting some steers from some different places, and once again bringing them along to this stage. The kids in the open steer show here have all done an excellent job feeding their steers as well. I hope in this championship drive you can see some steers with, some real world practicality. They've got some meat, they've got some muscle, they've got some shape, but we are in a show ring setting, and there's quite a few steers out here that have the look and the balance and the eye appeal that Riley and I like looking at. This has been, once again, a really high quality set of steers and a really high quality set of kids. I'd like to commend you kids for bringing a lot of competition to town and doing so with a lot of grace and a lot of camaraderie. You can see that really throughout the barns and throughout the ring here today. With that, Riley's going to go select our champion and then our reserve champion steer.
Yeah, you bet. There it is. They've spoken. That is Hayden Kamala, your grand champion. Congratulations to you in the open steer division. Yes, and Riley Brewer, there is your reserve grand champion. Congratulations to you two. What an impressive set of cattle. Like I'll say again, even more impressive set of young exhibitors. We're going to see them back shortly in the Supreme Grand Drive. Yeah, you kids hang out here. We're going to take a few pictures before we open up the ring for our Supreme. Well, folks, we're down to the best of the best. This is your Supreme Overall Steer Champion. We are going to be reigning our Supreme Grand Champion. This is class number 12 in the Supreme Grand Championship Drive. Every exhibitor standing here in this lineup, they got to be proud. Regardless of where you place today, you know what? You've already accomplished something important. You've committed to a project, you've accepted responsibility, you've faced challenges, and you've saw it through to the end. And here you are in the Supreme Grand Championship Drive. First into the ring is exhibitor number 31, Gentry Harvey. Her steer is the heaviest of all the steers, weighing in at 1,741 pounds. Thriller is his name. A homegrown steer. Following her is her brother Chick Harvey, again coming out of the homegrown division. Exhibitor number 18, his steer weighed in at 1,650 pounds, and his name is Winchester. He is an Angus Simmental cross. And as we just concluded our open steer division, Hayden Kamala found himself as the grand champion. His steer's name is Curtis, and he's a clubby calf, weighing in at 1,485 pounds. And finishing out this Supreme class, it is Riley Brewer, bib number 10. His steer's name is Freddie, and weighed in at 1,470 pounds. This is the Supreme Grand Championship Drive. And a big thank you once again, to our judges, Riley and Maddie LaFrance. They have traveled 10 hours to be here with us this weekend, all coming all the way from southeastern Saskatchewan. Man, they know their cattle, and they have had to really put the pencil to paper, if you will, to try and pick out some of the top end here, because it is an impressive set of cattle. They've had their work coming out for them. Thank you for imparting your wisdom and contributing to our club in 2026. Thank you, Riley and Maddie.
Well, this is pretty awesome, no doubt about it. Go ahead and give these kids a huge round of applause. Last couple of days, Maddie and I have sure enjoyed ourselves. When we got the opportunity to come out and do this, we definitely wanted to make sure we're able to come and do it. Follow this the last couple of years, and you get to see just something grow, and you take a set of parents, and you make a plan and have a vision, and it all pays off when it comes down to something like this. You kids are very fortunate, like we talked about yesterday, to have parents that are as keen and as sharp and as good at what they do in this beef industry to learn from. And don't take that lightly, because not everybody has the opportunity or has the privilege to learn from people such as your parents. So to our staff, the sponsors, the organizers, there's a lot of things that always go unnoticed, and for you kids, you need to understand that they're doing this for you, and that's important. I was once your age, went through these programs, and it definitely helps shape you for later on in life, and no matter what you do, you see the value in it. And so the kids, the last 2 days, and I know sometimes it sounds repetitive, but no matter if you're the champion here today or you weren't fortunate enough to be back here, you've all completed a project, you fed a project. It's given you a reason to get up in the morning, to do something and be dedicated to it and follow through with it. Whether you had the first place steer or the fourth place steer, you've completed a task. And there's a lot of people, a lot of kids, I should say, at this point where we're at in this time that they don't know how to complete a task. And you guys have done that. So whether you have the champion or you were further down in the line, I get it. You can be discouraged. I've been discouraged too. But know that you've completed something and done a very darn good job of doing it. The quality of kids in cattle has just been tremendous. We won't say too much more. We've talked about them, but we've thoroughly enjoyed ourselves. The parents and the hospitality has been incredible. I would tell you kids as well, as you continue to get older and whether you age out of 4-H or whatever you do, just do things with integrity. Be polite, conduct yourself professional, and no matter if you show cows or whatever you do in life, those tasks will definitely pay dividends. But I always try to be the bigger person in every situation and just try to be a good person. And I think that's what makes this industry so valuable. We build people that are just good people, that have manners, that know how to work. And I think that's something that, maybe in this business sometimes we take for granted because there's a lot of other, different things in life that the people that do those things don't have the values that we have. So you should feel very fortunate. And again, thank your parents for that opportunity because it's something that'll definitely pay off in the long run. So Maddie and I have had a great time. It's been tremendous. We definitely appreciate the opportunity. What you guys are teaching and building these kids is something very, very special. And I'm sure you kids will look back on it and cherish the memories. I guarantee you in 10 years from now, we won't remember who won the steer show, but we'll remember the laughs that we had, the friends that we made, and all the good parts to go with it. So if you will, give them a huge round of applause. It's been an awesome couple of days.
Well, there it is, your Supreme Grand Champion, Hayden Kamala. Awesome job, young man, you bet. Way to come out on top today. And Riley Brewer, your Reserve Grand Supreme Champion. Yeah, well, stay in the ring, kids, take some pictures. And you know what? Thank you for them kind, encouraging words, Riley. We really appreciate you being here with us and some awesome mentorship and some great words. Couldn't have said it any better. You put it well together, so you bet. Take heed to his words, kids. He had a lot of value there in his little speech in the Grand Championship Drive. Come on in. We're going to ask all of our high-stakes members to come into the ring as we take our pictures with our Supreme Champion and Reserve Champion. Now we are going to the kids are going to get their pictures here, and this has been something cool that the club has done here when it started, was when we have our pictures being taken and we have our champions, every single member of the club shows up to get their picture taken. And this doesn't just stay at high stakes. If you go to a junior show and you see some of the high stakes members, if one of them wins and does take home a championship, all of them high-stakes members show up. You know what? It made some waves in the cattle showing industry. That's never happened. Usually it's just the sole winner up there taking all the credit. But you know what? This is a community and a culture, and we have created it here, and we're sure proud of what this is today. And there it is. That is your high-stakes junior beef club right out front there standing in front of you today. 2026, you bet. Give them a round of applause. 6 years we're in, and it has just been quite a ride. I'm grateful to be here. We are going to take about a 15-minute break, maybe 10 minutes. Something new we're bringing here is Class 13 to 17, Battle of the Breeds. We're going to do a pen of 3. So we got a pen of Charolais, a pen of Angus, a pen of Simmentals, and a pen of Herefords, and we're going to do a fun little pen of 3 here in about 15 minutes. Again, the bar is open, so go grab a refreshment, and after the pictures, we'll take a quick little break, and then we'll come back for our pen of 3. Again, supper is at 5:30 and the sale at 7, so we're hoping to see everybody here enjoying a social and the supper, and we'll see you at the sale.
While we wait for the Best of the Breeds competition, we're going to present some showmanship buckles from yesterday. So first of all, we'll present our junior showmanship winners. Junior champion is Bryn Degg. Do you have that one? Or Carrie has that one? And reserve champion is Gentry Harvey. Well, just come out front here. I think your mom has the buckles. Oh yeah, take the two juniors and go down and shake their hands. Carrie, do you got your cell phone? Can you take a picture or something of them? You want to go to the backdrop? Those are our two junior showmanship champions. And then our intermediate showmanship champion was Hawken Mater. And our reserve champion was Chick Harvey. If you're not getting your steer ready, you want to come up and get your buckle. And same goes for our senior showmanship champion is Stella Mater. And reserve champion is Tinley Harvey. If you're not busy, you can come up and get a picture with your brand new belt buckles. Congratulations to our 6 showmans.
Well, it does look like we're going to get underway here right shortly with our Battle of the Breeds, something new we brought to the High Stakes Beef Club. Big thank you to Jeremy Lismer. He's our president for organizing this. Again, we're going to get kicked off with our Angus. So we have Angus, Charolais, Hereford, and Simmental. We do have pens of 3, and then we will have a championship. We are going to start it off with our pen of 3 in the Angus breed. So to give a little background, how the pen of 3 work in the Battle of the Breeds, it was our club members, our own kids, that went around and picked out these pens of cattle. So they walked around, they created a little bit of a committee there, and it was our own members along with a little bit of mentorship. But for the most part, it was our members who picked out these pens of cattle. So congratulations to all you kids. You know what? You got a good eye. They're looking for an even, consistent pen of 3. Turn it up. This is class number 13 in the Battle of the Breeds. This is your Angus pen. Well, we are going to pick out the first and second. The first place will come back into the championship drive. That pen at the front there, that is the winner of this pen of 3. So we are going to see you guys back in class number 18. You bet. Congratulations. Well, that was your Angus pen of 3. Picking out them top 3. Now we're going to bring in our Charolais pen of 3. And again, make sure you stick around. 5:30 is going to be our steak supper and social. 7 p.m. we are going to get it kicked off with our steer sale. Sales management being run by Borison Marketing Services. Our auctioneer, Ryan Doran with Doran Marketing, going to be here again. Our ringman, Rod McLeod, Craig Flewelling, and again, DLMS. Carter's been up on the booth with me here for the weekend. They are live streaming, which is probably a good thing. It's made me put my filter on. This is your Charolais pen of 3. Well, we are going to go with that front pen again up by the high stakes banner. You bet. That's your pen of 3 is Charolais. We're going to see you back here shortly in our championship. Pen of 3. Battle of the Breeds. Well, we're going to get into our Herefords. Class number 15. This is your pen of 3 in the Hereford breed division. Well, we're going to go with that front pen on the east side. You bet. Those are your Charlet pen of 3. That's right. That's you, Lila. Or Hereford. Yeah, well, that's all right. I just got here. It's okay. Your Hereford pen of 3. It's not my first day. That is your Hereford pen of 3. You bet. We're going to see you back. That was class 15. That was your Hereford breeds. You bet. Not Charlets, of course. Should have been an easy fix there. We're going to get into class number 16, your Semitoles. Again, part of our Semitole board here, Dwayne Martin's representing on our Semitole board and Jill Harvey with the Charlets. But right now, this is our Semitole pen of 3.
Sunday morning with my head on your chest, wearing your shirt like my party dress.
Well, this is your Semitol pen of 3, and we are going to go with the back pen here, closest to me. You guys will be moving on into the Battle of the Breeds Championship Drive.
This night, I guess I'll take you home again. So wrong to fight, I'll keep you warm inside. I'll be the one who gives what you want to. I'll be the one who is what you won't do. I'll be your foolish kid. You stole the best a thief could even give.
Well, a great new addition to the show. This is the Battle of the Breeds. We are in class number 18. We're going to bring our Angus pen back in. This was your top pen of 3 out of the Angus breeds. Then we will bring your top 3 Charolais in. Following them will be our top 3 in the Hereford division.
I'll be your foolish kid. I'll be your foolish kid.
And we are going to bring our top pen of 3 in the Semitol breeds. This is your championship Battle of the Breeds right here. We got some Angus, Charolais, Hereford, and Semitols.
Is what you won't do. I'll be the one who gives what you want to. I'll be your foolish kid.
I think a pretty neat idea that these young people had to bring a pen of 3 in each, breed division. I think as we get them back out here, you can certainly appreciate the quality of cattle and the uniformity. As I understand that these young members sort of went through the barns this morning and selected the 3 to put together a pen of 3 to represent their breed. And so pretty neat deal. I think it's also important and nice to start at a young age as you do that, because likely later on, or maybe now with your parents, when you sell steer calves in the fall, you probably kind of sort them by weight. You sell your bigger ones maybe first, or you're sorting off some lighter calves that you're going to keep longer on feed. So I think there's a lot of value and importance to, understanding how to sort cattle and find uniformity. So for Maddie and I guess, especially in market steers, we've tried to find some steers that obviously have some uniformity in terms of frame size, but we need some market readiness, some weight, some product, some muscle, and some finish. We think there's a pen out here that suits us very well. But again, congratulate these members on a great idea here. I think it's very important. Maddie will go show you our champion pen.
Well, there it is. That's your Battle of the Breeds champions, your Simmental pen of 3 right there. Congratulations. A big thank you to Jeremy Lismer, or as I know him, Knuckles. Thank you very much for organizing this. This is a new addition to the High Stakes Junior Beef Club with our pen of 3. Awesome job. And again, a big thank you to Riley and Manny for being here with us today. We're sure grateful to have you. Tia Schramm doing the photographer, and Carter with DLMS. You bet. And thank you to everyone here, the fans in the stands, for supporting our club. And we have a 5:30 steak supper and social, followed up by our 7 p.m. sale. So we'll see you at the supper. Thank you for being here with us today.